O Radhesha Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, obeisances.
Obeisances unto you. You are like the walking manifestation of the Sankirtan movement. Can you lead us in Kirtan?
Wow. Ananda, would you lead? All right, I'm gonna defer to my better half. All right. I'll grab him. You just start chanting. Yeah. Yeah. Nama Om, Jai Shri Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Gurudas Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Jai Vishnupada Paramamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shata Shishma Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupada Paramamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shata Shishma Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokopinath Shyam Kund Radhakund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glorious is Samud devotees. All glorious is Samud devotees. All glorious is Samud devotees. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Bari Bol. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna. That was so nice. Thank you very much. And Hare Krishna to all, and welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Monday, February 24th, 2025 in New York. And today we're picking up with 4th Canto, Chapter 11, text number 21, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm sticking with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So here Swayambhuva Manu is speaking to Dhruva Maharaj. And this is text 21. Ayusho pachayang jantos tataivo pachayang vibhu ubhabhyam rahita svasto dustasya vidadhatyaso. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is all-powerful, and he awards the results of one's fruitive activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he, the Lord, is always in his transcendental position, and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life. Both the mosquito and Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute sparks and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of the life of the mosquito and the very long lifetime of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to the results of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita we find it said, Karmani nirdahati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reactions of devotees. The same fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Yajnartat karmano nyatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. Under the laws of karma, a living entity wanders within the universe under the rule of eternal time. And sometimes he becomes a mosquito, and sometimes Lord Brahma. To a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. Bhagavad Gita 9:25 gives a warning to the living entities. Yanti deva vrita devan. Those who are addicted to the worship of the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. And those who are addicted to worship of the pitas, forefathers, go to the pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere, but persons who engage in devotional service reach the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth nor death, nor different varieties of life under the influence of the law of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advised, my friend, you are being washed away in material nature's waves of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be eternally happy. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you right away for Radhesha Prabhu posting the lyrics that Prabhupada is translating here from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Mayarvase yacha bese kachcha habudubu bhai. My dear brother, the spirit soul is completely under the control of Maya, and you are being carried away by its waves. I've always liked the sound of this word, habudubu. It means being carried away by the waves, but it has a certain tonal quality that reminds me of being pounded by waves into the sand, habudubu, over and over again. Or the sound it would make if you were inside a washing machine. Essentially, Prabhupada's making the point here that, well, this is fine, Bhuvamanu's making the point, and Prabhupada is underlining it, that as long as there's activity in the material sphere, you have what he says here is, what is that? Essentially, you have life, durations of life, qualities of life forced on you by material nature. The spiritual world, there's also a great deal of variety, but there it's all based on the desire of the living entity. Here, it's based on, if our desires are not dovetailed with the desire of the Supreme Lord, then we get what we ask for. We Yanti Deva Vrita Devan. Prabhupada in the purport says this is a warning to the living entities. If you want to go to the planets of the demigods, that's where you will go. If you want to go to the planets of the forefathers, that's where you will go. So in one sense, you get what you want, but Prabhupada also says that for a sane person, this is not very fruitful. To a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. To become a mosquito and then a Lord Brahma, and in both instances to be completely under the grips of material nature, you don't know where you're going next. You don't really have the freedom to act as you may desire, as you do in the spiritual world. So these conditions, as Prabhupada would say, are very stringent. You can't escape them. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, would you care to comment on these verses? Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shamaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashchacha Deshatarane. I've noted the contrast between swastha and dusta. The living entity is, the Lord is swastha. He's transcendently situated in his own position. And the living entity is dusta, badly situated. He's situated according to the results of his karma. And so he has a long lifetime or a short lifetime. But whatever it is, it's bad. What is that? Dvaite Bhadra Bhadra Gyane Manodharma. E Balo E Mande Sabbrahma. Good or bad, it's all bad. So the living entity is badly situated in this material world because he's subject to the results of fruitive activities. But the Lord is always transcendentally situated. Hare Krishna.
I'll read a comment in the chat here from Prabhin Krishna Prabhu. He says, what does the duration of life have to do with Dhruva desisting from this battle?
Well, let's take a look at it. Of course, it's not just this verse in isolation, but there's going to be a whole discourse about the situation of living entities. One thing is Dhruva's brother's life was cut short. And so you can blame that on the yakshas. But on the other hand, everyone's short or long duration of life is on account of his karma, or as we'll find in the next verses, there are various ways of explaining why one living entity lives a long time, another a short time. But it's not simply, well, it's the yakshas. That's a narrow way of thinking. Hare Krishna.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, can you say a little about the planets of the forefathers? They are a mystery to me.
Prabhupada doesn't say a whole lot about them. If I recall, they're situated in the lower part of the universe, the Pitriloka, or yes, Pitriloka. Not clear to me what qualifies one to become a Pitri, because there's lots of forefathers, and the forefathers go here and there according to their karma. So I don't have much to say about it. I wonder if Monier Williams has anything to say. Mm. I don't see it. I'm sure it's there, but um, but I don't have more to contribute at this point.
Thank you, Maharaj. Saraswati Mata, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Pranams Param Puchya Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. I had made some notes when I sat in the class of the Goloka chart, and just a few notes about Pitraloka. It said below the Patal there's the Naraklok, the hellish planets, and they have 28 planetary systems. Pitralok, abode of ancestors. In Naraklok, sinful souls from Burlok are punished by Yamraj. In Pitralok, there's a Shraddh ceremony by descendants that benefit the ancestors who are in Pitralok, who never did any bhakti and have been engaged in fruitive activity. So worship Narayan in the Shraddh ceremony liberates these ancestors, and that Shraddh should be done in 1 year death anniversary of that ancestor. Just thought I'd share some of my notes. Hare Krishna.
Mm.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, thank you, Maharaj.
Any other comments or questions here? Srila Vishwanath has just a very short purport. He just says, flies have a short life, devatas have a long life. And dustasya, as Maharaj was saying, means dependent on karma. Let's see. Maharaj, it appears that you're at the home of Madhupati Prabhu. Would he like to read our next verse, 22?
We're finding out. I think he might be ready for the next verse. Looks like he's trying to find his way through his phone.
We can wait. Perhaps Radhesha Prabhu would like to chant 22.
Hare Krishna. You want me to read? Are we waiting for Madhupati Prabhu? I don't want to jump in on him.
He'll do the next one, we think.
Next. Okay. So I'll do 22. If I'm permitted by Godzilla here.
Hare Krishna.
All right. Text 22. Kechit karma vadantyenam svabhavam apare nripa eke kalam pare daivam pungsa kamamuta pare. The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, others due to fate, and still others say that it is due to desire. There are different types of philosophers: Mimamsakas, atheists, astronomers, sexualists, and so many other classifications of mental speculators. The real conclusion is that it is our work only that binds us within this material world in different varieties of life. How these varieties have sprung up is explained in the Vedas. It is due to the desire of the living entity. The living entity is not a dead stone. He has different varieties of desire or kama. The Vedas say, kamo karshit. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord, like sparks of a fire, but they have dropped to this material world, attracted by a desire to lord it over nature. That is a fact. Every living entity is trying to lord it over the material resources to the best of his ability. This kama, or desire, cannot be annihilated. There are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it is not at all possible to give up desire, for desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity would be a dead stone. Srila Narottama Das Thakur therefore advises that one turn his desire towards serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then desire becomes purified. And when one's desires are purified, one becomes liberated from all material contamination. The conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, where we create our different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn into this material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Guru Dasa Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namane. When you were visiting Guru Maharaj, we were chanting in the morning the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and a lot of those verses are ringing in my ears now as I think of this Vedic aphorism, Kamo Karshit, impelled by desire. We drop down into this world because we have these desires, independent of the Lord. And when those desires are reunited with the Lord, then it's the cause of our upliftment. To satisfy one's kama is to satisfy one's own senses is kama. To satisfy the Lord's senses is love. So it's I think one devotee had a book, Transforming Lust into Love. So this is the process. We're purifying those desires. I was also thinking of Daivang Chaivatra Panchamam, these different factors of action. So there's different philosophers, there's different ways of categorizing our suffering and enjoyment and how we're experiencing the world. And depending on how you look at it, according to which philosophy you subscribe to, you can decide how we're acting in this world. But Srila Prabhupada boils it down to, let's see what he says. It is due to the desire of the living entity. So that's I guess that's the baseline. It's all drawn to Kamo Karshit, where our desires are reposed. And the path to liberation means purifying those desires by engaging them, uniting them, becoming one with the Lord's desires. And if anybody knows which bhajan this is by Srila Narottama Das Thakur, Narottama Das Thakur advises that one turn his desire towards serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then desire becomes purified. It would be nice to hear the lyrics. That's all.
Krishna, what is that? Kama Kamarapane. That's
Kamo Kamarpane. All right, we can look that up. Also, I was thinking a little bit further that after the 3rd chapter, Praveen has it, Kama Krishna Kamarpane. After the 3rd chapter, in which we're describing, this lust has acquired strategic sitting places within the body. Then we get the 4th chapter, talking about how we can not be affected by sinful reactions, how we can work in such a way our devotional service purifies us. I just thought further along the lines of Bhagavad Gita in this context.
Thank you. Oh, yes, Ross Prabhu, go ahead,
Yeah.
unless Maharaj would like to say something straight away.
Maharaj.
Russ.
Okay. I have a question in the chat. Hare Krishna, what does same mean in, but the same desire must be purified?
Desire. Let's see. I have to scan the purport. It's not just it's there someplace. This what you're desire. Where is that?
On the bottom, second to last sentence.
We're drawn into the material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified. The same desire means desire must be purified. We have desire, now it's misdirected, but that same desire should be properly directed. Just like we have intelligence, the same intelligence that we're now misusing should be properly used. So the same desire that we have that we're misusing should be properly used by being directed toward Krishna. The Vishwanath's purport is informative here. I'd like to turn to that.
I'm happy to read that, Maharaj. He says, the rendering of the verse is as follows. Some say it is karma. Some say it is the nature of matter. Some say it is time. Some say it is planets. And some say it is lust. And the commentary. Let karma be the cause of happiness and distress, birth and death. True, but philosophers argue about this. Some Lokayatas, followers of Charvaka, say that it is the nature of matter itself. Others, Vyavaharikas, followers of the Puranas, say it is time. Astrologers say it is the Devatas in the form of planets, Daivam. Others like Vatsyayana say it is lust. Shruti says, Kamo karshit kama karoti kama karta kama karayita. Lust has done it, lust is doing it, lust is the doer, lust causes us to act. That is from Maha-Narayana Upanishad.
So here we get the what Prabhupada is touching upon. We get the proponents identified, the Charvakas, the Lokayatas, the astrologers. When we say it's Daivam, they say yes, destiny in the form of different planetary systems, different planets. And Vatsyayana is because it's odd, Prabhupada says he's talking about philosophers, then he says sexualists. So you wonder how did they get in there? But Prabhupada, Vishwanath is referencing Vatsyayana, who, if I recall, is the author of the celebrated Kama Sutras, probably more celebrated than other Vedic writings in the present age. So everything is lust. And Prabhupada, in one sense, agrees with that. Everything is desire. Kama means lust, or kama means desire. And the Upanishads say, yeah, desire is doing it, has done it, is going to do it. Everything depends on desire. When our desire is misdirected, then we'll fall down into material existence. And when the desire is properly directed, then we'll be uplifted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. And for other comments here.
Krishna, Prabhu had a comment. Rama Krishna Kamar Bane.
Right. One thing I noticed in this purport was that Prabhupada talks about the various philosophers and what they say. But then Prabhupada says, the real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, etc. I always find it very refreshing and reassuring when Prabhupada says, this person says this person says that, but actually it's this. Hare Krishna. And we have a hand up. And Saraswati Devi, please go ahead.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I was listening to one of Srila Prabhupada's lectures, and it really sort of struck out at me because he was talking about how devotees, they're trying to progress. And he talked about like a boat, which of course our human body is like the best vehicle in which to make this transition and cross the material ocean of existence. And Srila Prabhupada's talking about how devotees, they're engaged in trying to progress, but these attachments, subtle or gross, that we have with the material world, it keeps us from making that progress. And you talked about how a boat has an anchor. If you don't lift that anchor, the anchor is like our attachment to this material creation, and unless we completely lift that anchor up, the boat's not really going to have the ability to cross. You're just sort of dragging the anchor along the ocean bed, so you're not really going to make much progress. And that really stayed with me. So of course his point is that you have to lift the anchor, get it out of the water, and then the boat is going to start making progress towards the final destination. Hare Krishna.
Thanks so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, any further comments on this verse or anything anyone has said before we move on?
No.
All right. So if Madhupati Prabhu is set up to read text 23, then we'd love to hear from him. Thank you.
Okay. Let me try. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, I have to knock out my
You have to kind of hear me.
everything so you don't echo. Also, this report is rather long. We might want to chunk it up.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले गुरुदास जयद्वैत स्वामी के नामिने अव्यक्तस्य अप्रमेयस्य नाना शक्ति उदायस्य च न वै चिकीर्षितं ताता को वेदात स्वसंभवम्. The absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies, like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. Purport. The question may be raised, since there are so many varieties of philosophers theorizing in different ways, which of them is correct? The answer is that the absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to direct experience or mental speculation. The mental speculator may be called Dr. Frog. The story is that a frog in a 3-foot well wanted to calculate the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean on the basis of his knowledge of his own well. But it was an impossible task for Dr. Frog. A person may be a great academician, scholar or professor, but he cannot speculate and expect to understand the absolute truth, for his senses are limited. The cause of all causes, the absolute truth, can be known from the absolute truth himself and not by our ascending process to reach him. When the sun is not visible at night or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it either by bodily or mental strength or by scientific instruments. Although the sun is there in the sky, no one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if one goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight on the night sky, the sun will then be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible. Should I make it here?
Sure, you can, pause there. If you have something to say, then please,
Yeah.
please make comment. And then I think you'll just need to mute yourself before Maharaj speaks.
So the absolute truth, cannot be realized by mental speculation. or pursued by our imperfect senses. It cannot be pursued through an ascending process. The only way it can be pursued is through a descending process. Right? Only from the Supreme Lord that descending process comes down in the form of disciplic succession. And we call that a Sabda Praman. Knowledge received through a descending process. Absolute knowledge received through a descending process, coming all the way from the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy of a Dr. Frog, who, through his mental speculation, through his perception of him being in a well, he wanted to measure the length and breadth of Atlantic Ocean. That's not possible. The absolute truth in that way is beyond his capability of speculation, right? So he cannot be understood by mental speculation, nor he can. Another analogy which the Prabhupada gives is the sun. When it is during the night or when it is covered by the cloud, you won't be able to see the sun even by a torchlight going up on a rooftop. There's no powerful torchlight by which you can see the sun. Yeah. Are there any discussion?
Yeah, just one other comment that this Dr. Frog was invented by Hayagriva Prabhu for his Bhakti Yoga Society when he was an instructor at Ohio State University. He did a poster, I guess, advertising this topic of Dr. Frog, PhD, and Prabhupada liked it. Hare Krishna.
Will I continue reading? The word avyakta, unmanifested, in this verse indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. Transcendence is not the subject matter of direct experience. The absolute truth may be known in the same way as the sun covered by a cloud or covered by night. For when the sun rises in the morning in its own way, then everyone can see the sun. Everyone can see the world, and everyone can see himself. This understanding of self-realization is called Atma Tattva. Unless, however, one comes to this point of understanding Atma Tattva, one remains in the darkness in which he was born. Under the circumstances, no one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is equipped with varieties of energies as stated in the Vedic literature, Parasa Sakti Vividaiva Shriyate. He is equipped with the energy of eternal time. Not only does he have the material energy, which we see and experience, but he has also many reserve energies that he can manifest in due course of time when necessary. The material scientist can simply study the partial understanding of the varieties of energies. He can take up one of the energies and try to understand it with limited knowledge. But still, it is not possible to understand the absolute truth in full by dint of material science. No material scientist can foretell what is going to happen in the future. The Bhakti Yoga process, however, is completely different from so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. A devotee completely surrenders unto the Supreme, who reveals himself by his causeless mercy. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, the Lord says, I give him intelligence. What is that intelligence? Yena mam upayanti te. The Lord gives one the intelligence to cross over the ocean of nescience and come back home, back to Godhead. In conclusion, the cause of all causes, the absolute truth or Supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by philosophical speculation. But he reveals himself to his devotee because the devotee fully surrenders onto his lotus feet. Bhagavad Gita is therefore to be accepted as a revealed scripture spoken by the Absolute Truth himself when he descended to this planet. If any intelligent man wants to know what God is, he should study this transcendental literature under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Then it is very easy to understand Krishna as he is. In this section, we see that Srila Prabhupada again stressing the point, the word abhyakta, unmanifested, indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. So transcendence is not the subject of direct experience, right? So we cannot, by our direct perception or by mental speculation, can understand transcendence or the absolute truth. The absolute truth can be understood only by its mercy, received through disciplic succession. So Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by hearing from bona fide spiritual master. It cannot be understood by mental speculation. Yeah. Good.
Again, Vishwanath's purport is illuminating.
I'll be happy to read that here. He renders the verse in this way. O child, no one knows the plan of the Lord, who is invisible and unfathomable, from whom numerous energies arise, and from whom you are born. And the commentary, who among these disputants establishes the truth? Referring to the above-mentioned list of philosophers. No one, since they are all ignorant of the root cause of everything. The Lord cannot be revealed by childish intelligence, avyaktasya. The cause of this is that he cannot be measured by material proofs, like sense perception, aprameyasya. Various shaktis, such as time, karma, and nature of things, svabhava, arise from him. Taking shelter of one of these shaktis, they argue. But there can be no arguments about the cause of these shaktis. No one knows the plan of the Lord from whom we arise. Bhishma said, Nahyasya karichid rajan puman veda vidhitsitam yadvijñas, Hare Krishna, yadvijñasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. First Canto, chapter 9, verse 16. Shruti says, Kodha Veda ka iha pravochat kuta ajata kuta iyam visrishti arvag deva asya visarjanenata koveda yata avabhuva. Who knows him? Who speaks of him? From whom was he born? From what was he produced? He precedes the Devatas. Who knows from where he appeared for creating this universe? That's all from Taittiriya Brahmana 289. Hare Krishna.
None of these people, all rejected, because they're speculating. And Nayamatma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedaya Bahuna Shutena. The Lord can't be understood by individual or collective speculative efforts. And this verse by Bhishma Dev is relevant. No one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Looking to see if there are any more comments or questions on this before we move on. We have not so much time left. It's probably a good time to pause for kirtan. And let's see. Yeah, we'll pick up next time with text 24. Let's see. Krishna Konteya Prabhu, would you like to lead us in kirtan? We have one new message here. Prabhu Krishna Prabhu offers an argument. No one knows the Lord's plan, so I may as well continue to fight.
No one knows the plan, so I might as well continue to argue my explanation for it. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't get that argument.
I'm taking it that he's giving the viewpoint, possible viewpoint of Dhruva Maharaj.
Oh. Yeah. But not that because no one knows, then you don't have to observe principles of Dharma. We may not know the outcome. We may not know the Lord's plan, but we have to perform our duty. So Arjuna at Kurukshetra, he had to fight. He may or may not have known what Krishna's outcome would be, but it was his duty to fight. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. All right. Thank you. And now, Krishna Konteya Prabhu, if you can, please lead us in some kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora, Brahmanundi, Haribo. Mao Vishnupada Brahman Sapari Rajartare Asutar Satashi Srimad, His Divine Grace, Das Guru Maharaj Ki Papa Ki Jai, Mao Vishnupadaya Krishna Visaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane, Nirvisesha Shinivadi Paskacha Desharane, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Shri Guru and Guru Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Advaita Swami Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Krishna Kantaya Prabhu. And thank you everyone so much for being here. Especially Maharaj, thank you for being with us again. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Advaita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol.